London's legendary taxi drivers are the Olympic athletes of memory. Navigating the intimidating labyrinth that is central London, they must create an intricate mental map consisting of thousands of streets, landmarks, and locations.
London is such an enormous city. It's a massive area, chaotic geography, and it's grown up organically. There's no real planning to it, so the streets bend, they twist.
I mean, in London, we've got streets where on one side of the street, it's called one name, and on the other side of the street, it's got another name.
London wasn't laid out for the traffic that we've got now. It was laid out for horses and carts and whatever. And it's adapted to a large extent. So we've had to adapt to it as well, you know.
University of London scientists studying the shape of memory found ideal subjects right in their own backyard. For 150 years, every new cab driver has had to pass a grueling exam, known to Londoners simply as the knowledge. It takes most hopefuls at least 2 years to master, giving researchers a superb opportunity to look at how the brain adapts when required to retain vast amounts of information.
I don't think there's any other city in the world where the cab drivers have to take as much of a test as we do.
Thanks, mate. Can you take me to Albert Hall?
Albert Hall, yeah.
Cheers.
When somebody gets in your cab, they'll say, take me to so-and-so, and it's got to be like that. You've got to know instantly where you're going, which way to be pointing. So there's a lot of retention. You've got to retain a lot of what you've learned as well.
Here are ordinary people whose jobs depend on exercising their brains in an extraordinary way. Scientists suspected a particular region of their brains, called the hippocampus, might be the key to their success.
The hippocampus is a part of the brain deep in the brain. It's on the sort of insides of what we call the temporal lobes, which are the parts of the brain immediately to, either side of the temple, just behind the bone there. There's two structures, one on each side, critical for laying down new memories.
Now, run me to the nearest police station.
Lee Bar, Waterloo Bridge, Ford Lancaster Place.
If memory depends upon the hippocampus, at the Knowledge Point School, drivers in training surely give this part of their brains a good workout.
Lower Robert Street. Right, York Way.
Left Shaftesbury Avenue, left Great Windmill Street.
Right into Goldhawk Road and sit down on the left.
Dave, give me the name of a restaurant on Portland Road with a lady's name.
Chutney Mary's.
Hereford Road, where would you give me?
Veronica's.
Denise, Southampton Road contains a restaurant with a lady's name.
Would that be Denise's restaurant?
If I then said to you, Zaffarano's restaurant, Zaffaren restaurant, Zuka Zo, I now want zinc. It's very important with all these points that you keep them in your mind and see them in your eyes, OK? That's it. Thank you for attending, and keep these sheets. Anything we didn't know, please go out and look for it. Thank you very much.
After class, students like Andy Miller take to the streets. Since visual processing occupies more brain activity than all the other senses combined, it is not surprising that direct experience is an essential part of the knowledge training.
You start off learning all the roads, then you have to learn all the places on every road. With all the routes that you have to do for the knowledge, you couldn't possibly do it on a map. You have to get out on your bike in the rain, the cold, the snow. You learn it bit by bit. The brain is gradually gathering more and more and more information. As long as you keep remembering and revising streets, they will stay in your brain.
But how does the brain retain and order all that information? As the scientists suspected, mastering the knowledge may have a physical impact on the brain itself. Their study concluded that part of the hippocampus was indeed larger than average in these drivers. In fact, the most dramatic differences were seen in the drivers who were on the job the longest.
The hippocampus has a spatial map in it, and what seems to be happening in the taxi drivers is that the spatial map is laid down of central London. And laying this down causes the connections to develop and grow and more of them to form, and that makes part of the hippocampus get bigger.
It's almost like you've somehow, somewhere up in your brain, you've created enough space to sort of slip this map in, a little bit of software.
You've got to see it in your head, on a map in your head. You build up a big picture of London as a map in your mind, and you can see the lines and the wiggles of the streets so that you can see exactly where everything is.
This study suggests something we presumed not possible, that the adult brain can refashion its basic anatomy according to the requirements of its owner.
I think it's a very important study because it's shown for the first time in man that the hippocampus can reorganize itself. But what does it mean? It means that the hippocampus is changeable. We say in science it's plastic, like a bit of plasticine, you know, it actually can change shape.
I definitely feel as though I've got a larger hippocampus than most people. In fact, it's been said. I've had people get in the cab and say, I've noticed you've got a larger hippocampus than most others.
It's quite interesting, really, because we just set out to do the knowledge, to learn it for our job, and now we're being told that we've exercised part of our brain, which is enlarged now, and, you know, it's got to be a bonus, hasn't it?
If human existence can be described as the sum of our memories, the implications of the study are dramatic and far-reaching. Once we wouldn't have dared to dream our brains might possess this kind of adaptability. Now we dream. Can these insights be used to help restore the minds of stroke victims, Alzheimer's patients, and those suffering brain traumas?
I do know that he's going to have surgery, and I know he's going to stay in the hospital for a couple of days. And I know that he might have to learn how to read and write again a little bit, so I might have to read him some books and teach him how to write again. And I know that he's kind of scared about this, and my mom is too.
It's been a sleepless night for Scott Tennis, so being awake for surgery at 6 a.m. is not a problem.
Right now, I'm to the point now where I want to get it over with, just because I know what he's going through. We know when we were told that he will be banged up for a little while. But how long is that going to take, and how much is it going to be? That's the scary part. I was calm until I saw him walk away. I tried to follow as far as I could, and I knew I couldn't go any farther when he got into the pre-op. It was like I said goodbye, because I didn't know what he would be like coming out.
This part's a little uncomfortable, so we're gonna numb out the skin.
I'm very scared. There's a reason you have a skull. It's to protect your brain. And then all of a sudden they're gonna crack that open and go into your brain and take something out of there.
This opinion down, you're gonna feel pressure.
You know, the thought that someone that I've only met once is I'm trusting my head to be dug around in by this person. It's a scary thought.